Santa and the 12 Trees of Christmas by Janine Marr, copyright 2018. Once upon a time, a long time ago, Santa Claus visited the Monadnock region during his summer toy designing retreat. He was struck by the greenery all around him. Green mosses grew on rocks and rotting logs. Green ferns filled the forest floor. Green shrubs bore colorful fruits. Tall green trees shaded the hillsides, riverbanks, and lowlands. "I don't have this much green on all of the North Pole," Santa exclaimed. "Look at all of these trees. There are so many shapes and sizes. Mrs. Claus would love some of these trees for her garden," Santa thought. "I'll have to bring her one or two." At the end of his retreat, Santa had designed many wonderful new toys for the elves to make. As he packed away his toy designs, he thought about the trees he wanted to bring Mrs. Claus for her North Pole garden. He decided to go for a short walk and pick out the trees he thought Mrs. Claus would like. As he walked along the wooded path to the stream, he saw a mother deer resting with her fawn beneath a hemlock tree. The hemlock tree provides important shade for Rudolph's relatives, so I'll bring one to Mrs. Claus, said Santa. Just beyond the hemlock was a tall white pine, taller than any other tree in the forest. Santa saw a huge nest in the tree. "Raven will like that tree," said Santa. "I'll bring Mrs. Claus a white pine." He continued walking through the woods until he reached the edge of a small pond. It was bordered by spruce and fir trees. "What beautiful trees," thought Santa. "Mrs. Claus will love these." He turned and began to walk away from the pond when a much shorter tree caught his eye. It had large green leaves and striped bark. "How delightful!" exclaimed Santa. "A candy cane tree! I'm bringing this striped maple home for Mrs. Claus." Santa meandered along the path and up the knoll to an area filled with hardwoods. A large bear sniffed the ground in search of early nuts from the beech tree. In the distance, a flock of turkeys scratched in the leaves beneath the oak trees. "These trees are very special," thought Santa. "Look at the wonderful food they provide for my animal friends. Mrs. Claus needs some of these trees for her garden." He wandered over the knoll to an area with a mix of tree species. Some trees were very old, and where big trees fell and died, new species grew. Santa saw white birch, ash, sugar maple, and hawthorn. These trees will provide bark for gifts, ash for baseball bats, maple candy, and fruits for the songbirds. "Mrs. Claus will love these trees," exclaimed Santa. It was nearing sunset and time for Santa to leave. A light breeze stirred the leaves of a tall aspen over his head. Santa marveled at the sound of the leaves. "Mrs. Claus has to have one of these trees. What beautiful music!" exclaimed Santa. "I'll give her the trembling aspen last. She'll enjoy having beauty, shelter, art, food, and even music in her garden." Then he paused. "I've found many beautiful trees for Mrs. Claus to plant in her garden. I'll have to give her one tree each day, ending with a musical trembling aspen. That's 12 trees, 12 days. The 12 trees of Christmas." He let out his famous "ho, ho, ho." It was on that day, so very long ago, that Santa and 12 trees from the Monadnock region began a holiday tree-giving tradition. The next time you see pictures of the North Pole, Look at all of the green from the beautiful trees in Mrs. Claus's garden. They were a gift from Santa Claus and the forests of the Monadnock region. Have a green Christmas and a Happy New Year.